Hey everybody, this is Matthew Sutton. I'm here to give you some real quick basic tips to help improve your artwork, especially with the human anatomy, hopefully, very quickly, okay? Just a little bit about me. I'm a self-taught comic book artist. I've been drawing since I was, maybe 3 or so. And then I've been in the professional sort of area since I was about 16 or 17. Um, I am totally self-taught, so the things I'll be telling you in this video and hopefully following videos are things that you should be able to use and apply right away. Um, these are things that I've figured out or picked up along my journey as an artist, and I'm going to present them to you in a more basic sort of way. I'm one of those people that I have trouble with those how to draw books and how to do this and that books, though they mean well. Some of them do have good information in there. I find a lot of them to be very mechanical and have a very methodical approach to drawing, and that doesn't work terribly well for me. So if you're having issues with that too, hopefully some of this will help you out. Okay. Well, let's just go ahead and get straight to it. Basically, what you see that I've done here is I took a ruler and I marked off 1 inch increments. I marked off 8 inches. So from here is, this is 0 down here. Up here is the 1/8, okay? Or vice versa, I suppose. And what that represents is roughly every human head that you're going to be drawing or dealing with, on a human body, to get it in the right scale, to get it to look like their head isn't too big or too small, or their any other part isn't too big or too small, has all sorts of crazy measurements that you could work in to really get to this basic thing here. But what I kind of figured out that works well is, I heard of the 8 heads rule. I hope maybe you have too, but if not, it works out really well. And what that is you can fit roughly 8 human heads from the top of this thing's head here to the ground is roughly 8. And you can tell that because each of these, this is 1 inch, and his head is, it lines up to about 1 inch. And, I've got 8 here, okay? Now, you don't have to do this every single time that you draw something or a person, but it's good to know that if you needed to kind of double check yourself, you could. And this is how I recommend that you do it. And a really quick way to sort of get to this sort of structure, because you see I've kind of drawn, hopefully you can see this, it's a little bit light, but I've kind of drawn this person's form here, is with sort of a gesture drawing technique. It's like a really quick loose thing where you draw your egg-shaped head here, and then you draw, essentially you kind of draw like you can see through the body. You're basically trying to draw like the spine here. This represents that, represents where the shoulders are, the joint where the shoulder meets the rest of the body. You draw a little line down, elbow, little line down, and then something like a triangle or whatever you care to draw, a diamond shape, to kind of represent the hand. And like I said, we're going to try to keep this as basic as possible, so I'm not going to jump into too much of this, but just so you can see how I got to where I did with this this form, in case you were wondering. A really good way to get to this type of form is to do this, where what you're doing is just drawing basically the big bones, more or less, the big important areas. So all you have to do is get your head structure here, then you're going to do your spine, shoulders, joints. That's important to know, just in case you want to put in like these creases or things like that, or maybe if the guy's wearing like a shirt or something, you would want to know the t-shirt goes here, armpits here. You would want to know where those folds go in the clothing. We'll get to stuff like that later on, maybe, if you guys are interested in hearing some more about that. But for right now, let me get back on track. Another good thing that this does also, doing these little lines through here, helps you make sure that each of your lines is the same length. That'll keep your arms, some people say they have trouble with one arm being too long or too short, or one leg, or anything. I mean, you can divide anything on the body into this sort of style here. And it doesn't need to be exactly perfect, because your human body just isn't, both of your arms aren't the same length, even though you might think they are. Both your legs aren't either, and your eyes aren't dead on level with each other either, even though again you might think so. But it's good to just know this stuff. You don't need to use it probably each and every single time, especially once you've done it, you know, a couple hundred times or more like I have. You just kind of know. But it's important to get that sort of artistic sort of education in there, and that will help you out. But you have to remember, though, you know, drawing in it is like you know, like signing your signature or something. You know, everybody learns the same alphabet, but we all sign our signature differently, and it's the same concept. So what I'm getting at is, when you go and try to redraw this, your structure may not look exactly like mine. Like, you may not get, you know, perfect same exact shapes as me, and that's okay. Don't worry about that. If you're you know, more of a new artist, your idea is that you need to learn these fundamentals. You need to learn about this shape here with the gesture drawing. Okay, this will help you. You know, make sure these lines are roughly the same length. You know, practice drawing what I've got right here. I know that sounds a little bit strange and really boring, and I mean, I know I've done it. It is definitely not the most interesting thing to do, but it helps you so much later on. You know, I create all sorts of artwork, and these are just good things to know, just in general. Well, you know, I think I'm going to wrap this one up, but if you have any questions or anything like that, or something you may want to see in the next video, feel free to let me know. Remember, this is just, you know, for super basic videos. What the idea of this was, we'll get into more complicated things like foreshortening and you know, maybe even some inking and some markers and whatnot later on, if you guys care to see that. So maybe drop me a like if you really enjoyed this video, or maybe even a comment, and click the subscribe button. I'll see you guys with another one. Take care.